Welcome, students. Today we're moving into week 4 of our Human Movement and Wellness course. This week, we will explore the principles of training, the foundation for building workouts that are safe and effective and tailored to your goals. By the end of today, you'll understand how to train smarter instead of harder. So here's what our day will look like. So first, we'll do a quick recap for week 3 about the components of fitness. Then we'll dive into today's lecture on the 5 principles of training. After that, you will work in small groups for brainstorming. Next will be our in-class lab, where you'll design a mini 1-week training plan. You'll exchange plans and provide peer feedback. Finally, we'll wrap up with homework and discuss directions and questions, and then discussions. Okay, so let's quickly remind ourselves of last week's big idea. What are the key components of fitness and how do they relate to your performance? So understanding these components helps us to make sense of today's training principles. For example, improving or enhancing endurance, strength, or flexibility requires applying specific principles to your workouts. So to start today's discussion, um, think about this warm-up question. If you exercise only one muscle group every day for a month, what do you think might happen? Would you get stronger maybe? Would you risk overuse, imbalance, or injury, which are also very possible? This question shows us why training principles matter. Training principles are essential because they prevent plateaus, burnout, and injury. According to Rodimus and colleagues, or et al., structured progression leads to better performance and safer outcomes for all fitness levels. The big message is that gradual overload plus variation equals long-term results. So good training is not random, it's intentional. Let's walk through the 5 core training principles. So you have overload, progression, individuality, reversibility, and specificity. So for specificity, your training should match your goals. Example, so if a sprinter focuses on powerful leg movements and not long distance jogging. For overload, that's meaning you need to challenge your body beyond its usual level. So that means, for example, adding 5 pounds, adding reps, or increasing the duration of an exercise. And then for progression, it's increased intensity gradually over time. So example is a 10 to 15% weekly increase is safe and effective. For individuality, training should be adapted to your personal needs and abilities, and not based off of an individual or what someone else does. So beginners may need modified exercises or lighter loads to start off. And then for reversibility, if you stop training, then of course your fitness declines. So it's the classic phrase, what they say, use it or lose it. So these principles kind of work together to create a balanced and effective programs. So this is a research on Spotlight 1. So basically, the study from Myers in 2010, it's the current sports medicine reports that resistance trainings among youth is both safe and beneficial when it is guided properly and supervised correctly. It improves coordination, bone density, and lifelong habits. So supervision and progression are linked because students need guidance to increase intensity safely. This is why your training plan must be thoughtful and not rushed. and it does have to make sense. So anytime that you exercise, you want to make sure you're progressing properly, and progressing in the correct way. So, in another study, Rodimus et al. Found that both adults and adolescents make the best progress when intensity is increased gradually over time. So, starting off with small increases of 5 to 10% are ideal, but not pushing too hard or too fast can actually decrease your strength and then weaken the immune system. So, remember building consistency before intensity. Your body needs actual time to really adapt to the exercise that you are performing. Okay, so now let's make connections to the CDC guidelines. So the CDC does recommend that teens get at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity every day, including muscular and bone strengthening activities at least 3 days a week. Rest days do matter to prevent injury and to avoid like reversibility. So these guidelines help us to apply training principles in real life. Now it's your turn to practice applying the principles. So your task is to create a 1 week training plan using the template provided. As you can see here in the slide, you have like a kind of like an example. Students, please do not use this example. You need to create like your own work and make sure you're using your own putting your own words into this chart as well. You choose a goal in improving endurance, building strength, increasing flexibility, or another fitness focus. So each workout day must show the exercise time, the intensity, the training principle applied, and a brief justification. So try to use at least one principle per day, if possible. Before we move on, think about this question. Which training principle do you struggle to maintain the most and why? So maybe it's staying consistent, challenging yourself enough, um, or remember to take rest days. So you can use this time to reflect and discuss with a partner or write in your journals or notebooks. We also would like for this to be kind of like an open discussion too as well, and just take time to reflect on our healthy habits. So these are the homework directions here. So your homework this week is to complete my personal training plan. That's what we're going to call it. So this is a 2 week plan that must include all 5 principles of training. You will also be required to write a short 150 to 200 word reflection about your choices. And be sure to use the official template uploaded in the class folder, or most likely I'll probably hand it out to you. And also, please make sure you pay attention to the rubric. Everything you need to succeed is on this assignment and is clearly listed. Use it while you're designing your plan and again before actually submitting to for grading. So students, also please take time to kind of read through this rubric here. I kind of copy and paste it from this folder here as well. Most of all the templates are in the Google folder, the Google Classroom folder, but I just want to provide an example to know what you'll be graded based on. So please pay close attention to this rubric and use this as a guide as well. So I would like to kind of like wrap this lecture up with a closing quote. And it says, motivation gets you started, habit keeps you going. So I highly like encourage you guys to set many smart goals like for the next week or throughout your life. These really will help you kind of track your progress along the way. These small goals or mini goals doesn't have to be always fitness based. It can be long-term goals, short-term goals. But I think setting goals are very, very important. So I always will encourage students to set goals for themselves, whether it's academic or anything long term or short term. And of course, students, here are the references that I used to provide this lecture to you today. So feel free to use this once again as a resource for you. And also, I'm always here to answer your questions as well. So thank you so much.